Hey, it's me, unapologetically T, and today Pluto is in Aquarius. And I don't know about y'all, but Pluto and Capricorn kicked my motherfucking ass. I'm just gonna tell you that. Mostly because life requires you to deal with your shit, right? So, if you've been following all the trauma dumping, and really I trauma dump just to let other people know that you are not alone, and that, a lot of us are collectively going through similar situations. It might be different times, it might be slightly, a little bit different. However, a lot of us collectively that are chosen have had some stuff happen to us. I think I look at chosen as pretty much is a very small percent of us that is not chosen. And there's a very small percentage of us that are highly favored. And then there's a percentage of us who you can sway whether you're going to be highly favored or whether you're going to be a dud. That's what I call it, a dud. Some people say lizard people, those entities. And I think they're just doomed. Maybe that's another percentage. But, like, it can sway either way. Like, so you can be a good outlier or you can be a bad outlier. Or you can meet somewhere in the middle. And, only God can judge us. So, a lot of us go through similar trials and tribulations. However, some kind of weird way in society, we learn to mask and push that shit down deep. And it causes substance abuse issues. It causes shopping addictions, gambling addictions, all kinds of addictions, right? And we all have our little, thing that we have. I've had multiple addictions. Can't even hold you. I'm so happy that in December it'll probably be like, I think it'll be a year that I have not had nicotine in my lungs. Such a hard addiction to kick. So if you have, had a cigarette addiction, it's such a hard addiction to kick. A lot of people talk about crack, opiates, meth and shit, but they will, and alcohol, but they'll leave out how hard it is to kick a cigarette addiction. Like, I used to have a joke, like, I can never tell a crackhead, like, just stop smoking crack, because I had a cigarette addiction and that shit used to have me in a chokehold. So, and it literally got to a point where, like, it wasn't even doing what it originally did for me in the beginning. And I literally started smoking Black and Milds first because I used to be a pothead. I was a good pothead. Like, I did it responsibly. Not every day, but a lot. And I would say it was more like when I didn't have school. I didn't smoke on school days typically, whether it was high school or it was college. So yeah, I typically, I was a responsible pothead. I loved weed, by the way. I really did love weed, but I had to give it up. Shout out to my fucked up, God sees all, baby father. He literally helped me with stop smoking weed. Also, what helped me with stop smoking weed was I started to have like adverse effects to it, and that definitely was like, ew, what the fuck is this? And so that's when I started to realize like weed was being tampered with. And so I was like, I'm a head on out, because I'm already, here, and I don't need to be all the way out there and then I never come back here. So I realized, like, in my 20s, like, something wrong right with the weed. Like, y'all tripping. Like, this is before I think they legalized it. So anywhere, I think. But they had started like tampering with it. I do remember that. So um I literally, that's a lot of the reasons I really try not to judge other people. I think I probably judge myself more than I judge any fucking baddie, and that's when I could tell something is wrong with me, is when I start to judge other people, because that's really not my character. I really can make an excuse for anybody for any fucking thing, and that's kind of like, one of my problems. But no, that used to be one of my problems. But yeah, like now I don't even, my judgment goes to, oh well, we don't mesh together, not that, you did this, and I'm appalled. However, you know if you know, and I'm gonna just leave that right there. So why I'm talking about this, and why I'm talking about Pluto leaving Capricorn, thank you, God. However, I do have to say thank you, Pluto, for being in Capricorn, because I had some really fucked up things happen to me as a child. I mean, sexual assault from so many people, from people who were supposed to be adults in my life that was supposed to protect me. I have been transparent about one of those people that were adults that molested me when I was a child. I have not came out about an adult in my life that was an important figure in my life that was actually raping me. So it in time it will come. In time it will come out, and I'm just being told, knowing to hold and when to fold. And so I am really at this point where, like, I got to see how sexual abuse from a very early age, and I mean very early age. I was actually, sexually abused by other kids too. A lot of people talk about, be careful with adults you send your kids around, be careful with kids you send your kids around, and with kids you let play with your kids. Go check in them rooms when they get too quiet. Because I definitely was also touched a whole lot by other kids, by a lot of girls too, and it definitely like fucked with my head, as far as sexuality. It did the adverse for me, like it made me not like girls like that, like, and I think that's where I'm come to the conclusion, like, I am queer, because I do find like women attractive. Like, if a woman has a big ass, like, oh, she got a big ass, like, that's a nice ass. Like, me and Dante used to do that all the time. Like, I was like a nigga with him, like, oh yeah, you see her ass, like, and it was like nothing for me. I didn't feel like, it was inappropriate or nothing, until like one time his aunt was in the car, God rest her soul, and she was like, you sit there, you do that with him, like, like, I could never. And like, she didn't say it like that, she was more real with it, she was street too, and she was just like saying basically like how she felt like it was inappropriate that we was butt watching together. And I was just like, shit, like, what the fuck, I see it, like, I can't unsee it, like, it's an appreciation. Now, will I act on it? Not necessarily. So I have not acted on anything that's like in the homosexual realm since I've been an adult woman, a teenage girl. It was all things done when I was a child. And so I do have some weird little kinks and stuff, but I do know where they come from and why they exist. I do really feel like, probably had I not probably been touched as a little girl, I probably would have explored that on my own once I got older. Because I was a tomboy, but that doesn't mean that I would have explored it just because I was a tomboy, because that's one thing I used to hate. People used to thought I was automatically gay because I like to do gender norm things that they assign to boys and men. However, I liked both. I like to do girl stuff and I like to do boy stuff. I just always felt like boys got to have more fun. And stockings were itchy, and dresses did not allow me to climb up a fucking tree. However, if you gave me a skirt, baby, I'll rock that skirt, because I can go climb up the tree and ain't nobody gotta see my fucking underwear. So or I'm not gonna snag and mess up, a pretty dress. So yeah, like, I was that barefoot bitch around the neighborhood as a kid. I rode my bike without no shoes. I walked around without no shoes. I just was the no shoe bitch. Like, I think I was probably part of, like, the Flintstone era, because even though, Black culture, we got some people that just walk around barefoot. But like, that shit is in my heart. Like, I just was a nigga. I was just a nigga, a whole gorilla in the zoo. So it was just from an early age. I do credit a lot to my brother and one of his best friends. I used to have to like be with them all the time. So, they definitely put an impression on me that boys got to have more fun. But yeah, like a lot of the sexual abuse stuff, I pushed down deep. And I mean, I pushed really, really down deep. Also, I think mentally, definitely for the actual penetration part in my life. I always would I think my brain just automatically and my soul would just leave my body, and like it puts up this blank wall. Like, you know what happened to you, but you don't have the memories and the pictures, and it's hard trying to tell somebody that you have been sexually assaulted, and you are being told to recall these facts, and you just don't have them to recall sometimes, because just soul wise, your soul has checked out, you have checked out, and at that point you're just a body. I also would have these moments, throughout life, where I would literally, I could even be present in my own body, but it's someone, something else running my show. And it happens when I used to get so overwhelmed and all that stuff. So I've had blackout periods, throughout my life. You could call it amnesia, like where I just can't remember what happened. And this last go around, I woke up and I just couldn't remember everything that happened to me, but I could feel every fucking thing. I could feel everything. My body could feel everything when I would come around a person, it would tell me whether they were safe or not. And this go around, I wasn't playing. I wasn't playing no games. And I wanted to know what had happened to me. And that was holding me back from healing. Like, I had to know. And it was like I had some unfinished business to handle, while God was like, baby, come this way, come elevate up this way. And it was like, but Dad, like, I want to know, like, and it's like, I know you want to know, but like, come this way. And it's just like, no, Dad. Like, I've done everything you wanted me to do. I've went through everything you wanted me to do. Like, I need to know. And I think it would have been an easier path, right, if I just would have been like, I'm gonna elevate up. And but for me, the way that I am and the way I process things, I really, really needed to find my own healing on my own, but not on my own, because I'm never alone. But as I've been transparent in all these videos, like, physically, literally, I'm doing this shit by myself. But I have such a phenomenal support system, spiritually, ancestral, angels, God, all of it. Like, I'm a person who has studied, so many religions, and for me, I've always said everything leads back to the same source, which I identify as God. However, I do acknowledge hierarchies and different branches of deities and ancestors, angels, and all that stuff, but the source that flows through us all is one source. I don't look at it as male or female. I look at it as both. So that's just that. And on this journey, I just, want to say thank you to all the parts who have supported me through all of this. Look, I've had the time of my life. I've lived one hell of a life, and most of my life has been complete bare knuckle, bloody, bloody fight. Like, it's been an extreme fight. I have felt like I've had the world on my shoulders for a very, very, very long time. Not only just having the world on my shoulders, I felt like I felt pain that did not belong to me all the time. And however, I can't regret any of it because feeling other people's pain allowed me a type of understanding that I didn't have to necessarily go through that situation. However, I understood what it felt like to be in their shoes, and helps me with, learning not to judge, and just the phenomenal gift that I realized. I always thought like everybody had empathy, they just wasn't using it. And it's, some of this shit is like literally superpowers, and society don't want you to know that, but this is literally like your gifts. Everybody doesn't have the same gifts. Some people have more gifts than others. Some people have gifts that haven't tapped into their gifts. And it's all for a reason and all that good stuff. So it's been an interesting thing. And I've done all this hard work. I've talked about how I have went to shamans, I've went to therapists, I've went to psychiatrists, I've went to group counseling, like where it's just, people like me who want to help other people. That is very effective. I would say that was very effective for me. That was very helpful for me to be around just other people who understood what the fuck I was going through, and I really didn't have to explain much. Definitely when you're dealing with narcissistic abuse, other people who have experienced narcissistic abuse is the best people to talk to, because other people who have not realized and are aware of narcissistic abuse, in which I compare narcissistic abuse as you are dealing with some fucking demons. Period, point blank. If you want to look at it in a spiritual lens, you're dealing with demons. You're dealing with a vessel that has allowed demons or a demon. It's just possession, period, to me. I believe in possession. You can have good possession and you can have bad possession. And like, I feel like demons enter us when we're at our most vulnerable and at our weakest, and a lot of y'all should have done better with gauging who's weak and who's not, but we're gonna carry on anyhow. So with narcissistic abuse, on the spiritual side, we look at it kind of like you're possessed. On a and a lot of us have possessions, right? So on a if you want to go a psychology route, mental health route, you are you it's still demons. You're dealing with someone who lacks empathy. That's number one. They lack empathy. They will never be able to know that they're wrong, because they'll only see things from their end. Like, they're just one of those people where they are the complete victim. Anything that happens is always going to be somebody else's fault. They can walk past the goddamn, bed and stump their toe, and, like somebody else did it. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. So if you are dealing with narcissistic abuse, I do advise you, because a lot of therapists, if they have not came to that awareness, they are fucking detrimental to you healing when we're talking about narcissistic abuse. So you should find local support groups where there are people who are trained by experience, because some things a textbook just won't do. And shit, you can put a narcissist with a therapist and then trick the therapist out of her goddamn, her logic and knowledge and sense. So certain things, I have explored deeply for like the last 7 to 8 years. I can't keep up. So well before I got to this point, Thanksgiving Day, when everything just was like, hey bitch, everything you ran from, we're here. Before I got to that point, I think I knew since childhood, like, something is very wrong. I needed help. However, I was raised by narcissistic people. Typically you will have a narcissistic person in your life. When you're dealing with parents or parental figures, you usually get one, and then there's a pair that's not narcissistic. It's usually an empath or just maybe an empty vessel that the narcissist like to use as a flying monkey. However, for me, my dad was a narcissistic person. That's why probably him and my mom couldn't stay together. My mom was definitely covert narcissistic. So she doesn't even she doesn't realize it, and none of them do. But my dad was grandiose. Well, I'm gonna say my earthly father, because that's what I call him now. Like, he's the vessel that lended the sperm. And I will say that I do look at my mom as a mom, because there were so many times where she was a mother. However, there were so many times where she definitely was detrimental and destroyed a lot of parts of me. And so she did struggle with drug and alcohol abuse. She struggled with her mom died, and she found out she was pregnant with me after her mom died. So she was just struggling with a lot. So I have learned that I can't make excuses for people any longer. They got to deal with their own consequences no matter what the fuck it is. Like, I can't allow you to abuse me. I can't excuse your abuse to be abused. So that's that. And I have no sorrow no more to give to people. I just can't do it anymore. I'm not a sorry person. So I be catching myself every time I try to say sorry. Like, bitch, you ain't sorry. Now, if I make a mistake, I can apologize, if I'm wrong. But sorry, not. So I grew up with that. Then I also had my stepdad who, he struggled with crack, and it's just like I was just raised around, like, my earthly father was he struggled with alcohol and gambling, and he also was a pedophile. My mom, I think, grew up, like, both of them grew up with, like, incest and a lot of abuse. Both of them born. My mom was born in the 50s. My dad was born in 48. So earthly father was born in 48. So a lot of fucking trauma, right? And it was a lot of trauma being passed on down to me. My mom was treated like shit. So, I think she actually did a phenomenal job compared to what she probably went through, if you put it like that. However, once again, that does not excuse you to abuse me, because I did not do that to my child. It doesn't mean that I did not make some mistakes, or I did not carry on some of those fucked up ways to my child. However, when it came out to blatantly trying to turn my child down, never. Couldn't do it. But me and her have our own set of issues. I'm not a perfect parent. None of us are. But we do need to make a rule book, because some of you bitches and niggas need a guide. And there are some guides out here, but no, we need like a earthly guide on how to raise children. Like, can we get one? Just like some standards. Or no, not even the standard. Like, we need to show the standard, the example. So this is if you want to strive high, but this is like bare minimum. Like, this is basic. This is the norm, because we don't like to say norm, but norm just mean average. Like, it just means, what is the average person doing? Abnormal mean you're not, because a mean not. I think in Latin, it's Latin. It's either Latin or Greek. It means not. So you're not being normal. So that means you're not being normal. Okay. So these words got y'all in the chokehold. That's another conversation for another day, though. Maybe it's a conversation for today. I kind of alluded to that in my "Is Profanity a Sin" video. But these words have y'all in the chokehold, and it's starting to piss me off. It is not the words problem. It is your sensitivity. It is your lack of fucking knowledge. Go read a fucking dictionary. Go Google etymologies of words and see where the fucking words come from, because a lot of y'all are having hurt feelings about words that ain't did shit to you. The power in the word came from the person, not the word itself. Period. Point blank. It's like guns don't kill people. People kill people. And Chris Rock he solved the problem to gun problems. He said basically like you should put the bullet up and make the bullet $1 million, and people would be careful about who they shoot. He had that was the best, the most brilliant solution. Like, cause yeah, you want to protect yourself, so why would we take away guns? Why would we take away guns if we want to protect ourselves? And there's also people who like to hunt and stuff. Why would we take away guns? Why don't we just make the bullets more expensive instead of the guns? Then you'll be more prone to think about who the fuck you're about to shoot or what you're about to shoot. So like, let's stop giving too much power to these words and actually learn the fucking origin of the words, because it kind of pisses me off as a person who literally stayed in the house. Like, I learned solitary confinement when I was a little kid. I literally, if my brother couldn't take me outside and watch me with him, which he hated to do, you know, and my mom wasn't feeling like going outside to watch me, then I was literally in my room reading dictionaries, reading books. And then the books I had, like, literally you could get word origins and all that stuff. So like, I literally grew up with anatomy books and shit. Like, I just bought an anatomy coloring book for fun because that's some shit that I used to like to do as a kid. I had anatomy models and anatomy books, but I just bought this like Kaplan anatomy book for fun. And I'm gonna break this open each day because I told you I learned about Reiki, and I just want to learn more, relearn the human body and human anatomy. I know a whole lot, but I have forgotten a lot of the terms. A lot of the terms are of Latin and Greek roots, and so I definitely wanted to get back into that. I told y'all I love biology, and anatomy is one. When I was a kid, I always thought I was gonna be a doctor. I don't want to be a doctor anymore. Not that kind. You know. So, but this is what I like to do for fun. So trust me when I say that people give power to words way more than they should, and you really should not be mad at normal. You should be mad at people judging you. That's where I'm gonna lead at. So I got on that goddamn tangent and forgot the starting point. I don't know if I pick it back up. I'll pick back up where I was intended to go. But yeah, I think I was talking about the parental figures in my life, and yeah, like, I have detached from all of them, every last single one of them, including my mother. She's in God's hand. I don't have fucking time for it. I don't have time for nobody who think they're gonna tear me down in any fashion or form. Like, to think that I am having a nervous breakdown, to know that I am having a nervous breakdown in your head, and you continue to try to pull me down, feed me negativity, it's a no for me. And I just can't wait to get the fuck out. Like, thank you. It's a no for me. So, and once I go, I will never look the fuck back. Like, thank you for everything you have done. But you know, like, I'll never forget how you treated me. And I think that's where a lot of people had got it twisted, was because I was literally conditioned by both sides of my lineage that you must deal with family no matter what. And I saw that in an indirect way, and I saw it also in a direct way. So I've been very transparent about, like, the sexual abuse and stuff like that. So, like, my sister also accused my mom's husband of touching her, which I believe my sister. Back when I was younger, I did not necessarily believe my sister because my sister did lie a lot. However, now that I know what I know, go figure. Go figure she was angry. Go figure she made up lies. Go figure. So you'll listen to and see, sometimes your older siblings who were not raised with you act a certain way towards your parents, and you be like, why the fuck is they acting like that? Like, I ain't get the same parent as you, and you literally probably didn't. There was a big age gap in my parents, my siblings, excuse me. So they probably literally got a different parent. I think my mom, even though she was like not very emotional with us, I still think she was way more loving with us. When I say us, me and my brother that's 7 years apart, than she was with my siblings who were older than us. But God rest my sister's soul. She had came out and said that my mom's husband, which was her adopted father, he adopted her when she was a baby, was molesting her. And my mom still stayed. No, it actually happened during the time. Well, this is what my mom told me, so I don't know my sister's at, but I do know that she came out and said it. But my mom said that it happened when she was in the process of leaving her husband because he had cheated on her with her sister. Jerry Springer episode. And don't act like your family don't have this either, because a lot of it does. A lot of y'all families does. You just what? You sweep that shit under the rug. Well, me, I am letting it all out so everybody else can feel comfortable to talk about the ain't shit family. And maybe we can stop being ain't shit to each other. Like, tell the truth. You shame the devil. So let's get into it. So, like, she was in the process of leaving him, and she had let my sister know, like, he wasn't her real father, like, before she even got to that point. But I guess in the process, she let the kids, it was my sister and my brother, she let them stay with him. And she was trying to get on her feet to get her own place so that she could, get away from him. But staying with him was detrimental to her mental health. She just could not do it. And mind you, he did, have another baby on her before she got pregnant with my brother. So he was always cheating and stuff like that. So I just think, cheating with her sister was the last straw. And so she went through that. Like, when I say literally, she went through hell in her family. She went through hell in her family, and that was way before she even met her husband. So I guess when that happened, it was my sister with some cousins and all that stuff, and all the girls had told that one particular uncle, which I'm not name dropping. I've been transparent about this. Like, I typically don't name drop, but I do drop with God. I do name drop with God. So one of the uncles in the family, which literally was one of my favorite uncles because it was my mom's closest brother. She had two of them that she was like really close to because they shared the same father. So he was brought up that he was raping my cousins, plus so it was literally his daughters, basically. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, one of them wasn't biologically his daughter, but it was his daughter and his one of my aunt's daughter, I think. So yeah, it gets real. The incest gets crazy. So anywho, my mom asked my sister when that happened, like, anything happened to her. No, I think his wife overheard them, and that's how it came out. And my mom, I guess, or either the asked her, had anything happened to her, and she said no, he never did nothing to me, but her husband did. And my mom still dealt with him even after that happened. And she was mad that my sister still dealt with him and would send him cards. But it's like, bitch, you still deal with him too. So, and to this day, you still talk to him. And you act like you still talk to him to, make sure my brother is all right. But my brother is a grown-ass man and he can call you himself. Granted, he does be in and out of jail, but he still can call you himself. You do not have to talk to that man. So, God sees all. And it's weird because there was some other stories that she told me about him when she had met him. He had said some stuff about how basically he had literally told her he was a sexual predator. But, I guess she kind of like mentally blocked the shit out. Like she didn't want to believe it. And most sexual predators and pedophiles are usually abused themselves. But however, we ain't doing what? We ain't excusing people so that they can abuse us. So, that ain't happening no more. And so she missed that red flag. She painted that shit pink. And later on, he had literally did the same thing to another little girl that his current wife was babysitting. She accused him of touching her, but they called that little girl hot in the tail, and I think she wasn't no more than 5 years old. I just know she wasn't like, she wasn't a teenager, but they called her hot in the tail and was talking about how her mama, was doing this and that, and they don't know who touched her. And it was like, bitch, she said he touched her. Like, let's start there. Like, and so like that kind of like solidified it for me. And then we had another family member, which I'm not going to say her connection to him because I don't know if she wants that story out. So that would be her story to tell, or if she's gotten over it, or through it, I'm going to say. If she's gotten through it, but I can't tell that one. But far as her closeness to him. And but she came out and said something happened to her, and immediately like my mom just got into this defensive state of questioning her and trying to tear up the story. And she did it right in front of me, but at the time this is what I was used to, because mind you, I told you that I told her about my biological father and she questioned me the same way. So just learning about family history. There was abuse that happened with that same uncle that did stuff to those cousins. He was accused of getting another one of my cousins pregnant. However, her mom was, Munchausen syndrome abusive, like would starve the certain kids. Like she didn't do it to all of them. It was just certain ones. Like I think she had starved some of the kids to the point where their intestines were starting to grow together. She had, would make them like it was horrific abuse. And it was already alluded that it was sexual abuse going on amongst her children, so that her children, her boys, was sexually abusing the girls. And so it was already rumored that. And when she got pregnant, she named the uncle as the father. And literally, I believe that also, because I just felt like, why would she lie? However, it is a plot twist in there. It could have been her brother or his children. They only did a blood test. And so, like that's not really ruling out the brothers if you just do the blood test on the uncle. However, I don't give a fuck who the daddy is. The uncle was dead ass wrong. And the plot twist and the kicker to this was how my grandmother handled it. Like, so my grandmother felt like because she knew that her mom was allowing sexual abuse to go on within the household, that she wasn't going to pin the baby on her son. So she felt like she wanted to protect her son from that situation. So she even got a lawyer and all that stuff. And unfortunately, for my cousin, she had a hard path and a hard road. Her mom did fuck shit to her, tried to take her kids after that situation, and it just caused her to have so much trauma and turmoil that you just have all these different scenarios of abuse and extreme abuse, and it leading to fucked up I guess, like, so when you reproduce, you carry that shit on. Like, whether even let's just say that you do your best to try to break the cycles. Like, DNA is DNA, and that shit, trauma codes in your DNA. And if you don't have the set of coping skills and the set of tools to help navigate your child through that stuff, like if you want to ignore that it exists, it is definitely detrimental to the development of the child. So we literally had all these different lineages of fucked up abuse. Like my sister, she ended up getting on drugs, losing her kids. That's one of the reasons like I parented the way I parented, was because I saw my mom kind of like, be emotionless, and then I saw my sister abandoning her kids, and I was just like, you know what, even though my mom was emotionless, she was a provider. So I did get that from her. Like, I'm gonna provide for my child no matter what. But emotion wise, I saw both my sister and my mom be just like, my sister was just fucking absent. And I hated her for it at times. I hated her for a lot of things she did. Like, she had called child protective service on my mom and almost got us taken away from my mom, which that could have been so much worse than actually living with my mom, even though at that time and that awareness, I didn't even feel like anything was wrong with me living with my mom. And for real, her motive was simply to get child support. Like, she knew my dad was in the military, and she knew my brother's dad had a nice job. So she literally, her motive was child support. Granted, like, my dad literally would not pay child support consistently whatsoever. Shoot, I had a dud. And so yeah, she did a lot of fucked up shit. Like, I know her and my mom got to fighting. That was probably like the second time I seen my mom get arrested. No, it wasn't. But it was one of the most traumatizing ones. No, nope, can't blame her on that one. No, I can blame her on the fight, because the fight was her fault. She jumped up in my mom's face. She was wrong. In my mom's house, she was wrong, and she didn't jump up in her face on, let me give you a hug. Like, she jumped up in her face like on some fuck shit. So, and like, everybody in the room just scattered back. We did not want to get hit. Like, we thought she had lost her fucking mind, and I think she did. But yeah, she started to fight and then called the police to play victim. And because my mama is who she is, she told him, like, yeah, I hit the bitch first, she jumped up in my face. Like, so they had to lock her up. And but no, it wasn't the first time I seen my mom get locked up, which is sad. I realized that too. Like, that's trauma. Like, when you do those little trauma, you fill out that paper. I forgot what it's called, but like, you fill out the paper about like, has your parent ever been in jail or incarcerated? Like, have, all that stuff. Like, I've seen my mom get locked up numerous of times. I would say probably like 3 or 4. People probably have seen their mom get locked up more, but for me, I was a very sensitive child, and the first time was enough. It was like, the fuck. And I think the first time I seen it, I was just like, she'll be back home. Because I knew what she was going there for. Like, I begged her not to go. I knew she was going to get drugs. So when the first time she got locked up, I was like, maybe this will teach her a lesson. At that young of an age, I was like, maybe it'll teach her a lesson. I probably was like in kindergarten or first grade. Like, maybe this will be the lesson for her to stop. So I was cool with it. I was like, she'll be back home. Like... But when she would get to fighting, that's when I would think, like, she's not coming back because she done fucked these people up. So that was scary. And then she's been arrested for a DUI, which is fucking funny because it didn't even happen until after the fuck. She had literally, really, really, like, she was at the point where she had literally almost quit drinking. So she had slowed up so much. And this heifer, she goes down to King's grocery store. If you know, like, Hillside, King's, she went down there and got a goddamn Cisco and thought she was gonna be, like a Bud Light, or I think she used to drink Bud Light. She used to have Miller's, the 40 ounces, but she thought that was gonna be that. Like, baby, Cisco ain't nothing but liquid crack. Like, girl, I could have told you that And I think this was like probably, I forgot what age I was, but I do know I was driving age because I used to have to fucking suck and blow. I was embarrassed as a motherfucker. Like, have you ever had to suck and blow while you're driving? Have you ever couldn't use mouthwash because it might register as alcohol? Like, I was 16 and embarrassed. Like, I used to hate driving her car. Like, I used to be like, can I get the Acura? Because this suck and blow Toyota is just crazy. Like, that bitch will stop you. You could be on the highway. You can be on the highway and you gotta fucking suck and blow, and then you don't want everybody to see you suck and blowing, so you got the little machine like this. Then if you got your friends in the car, it's just over. Like, I know my friends, y'all ain't never pick on me, but I know when y'all got home, like, I probably like, this bitch, she gotta suck and blow. This shit was crazy. I've lived a life. I tell you that one. I lived a life, and I don't even think a lot of people knew I was. Well, I know now. A lot of people didn't know I was living that life. I think a lot of people thought I was just spoiled and a know-it-all, and just had it all. Like, no. Pain built this. Pain and struggle built this. You know, there are some natural talented gifts, but pain and struggle definitely built this. I gotta get this to God. Like, I gotta get it to God. Like, God knew what he was doing when he made me. And that's why you should just never, like, I definitely, have felt jealousy for other people, like, why, but, like, quickly does that shit leave my head, because I learned at an early age, you never know what somebody went through to have what they have. And I used to say that shit on Facebook, like, you just never know what somebody going through to have what they have. You just see on the outside that they got that shit, but you don't know what they went through. You don't know how they had to, hustle to get it, or what hardship they went through to get it, to just be where they are in life. So that's some advice to somebody. Just don't ever look at what somebody else got and like, gosh, I wish what they got. Be careful. Be fucking careful. Your ass gonna wish them got them circumstances on you too. So, stay in your lane. Be happy with what you got. But yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey of remembering traumatic fucking memories. And I have had moments where I've had blood curdling screams once I realized what has happened to me. That's how hard it is. It's that traumatic. I've had to let go of people, places, and things. And I'm gonna take these off. Whew. So I've had to let go of people, places, and things, and I've had to grieve that, right? So I've literally one night I'd already felt like I had lost so much, and I still hadn't lost everything yet, right? And however, it was a person, and I just remember, like, having that realization. I tried to hold that shit in for 3 days. Like, I couldn't even lie. I ain't gonna hold you. I tried to be hard and act like that shit didn't bother me. But I literally had a person in my life, a person that I had no sexual connection to, just a person that just, was solid and been there for me. And our time had came to an end. And so it was like, I played hard and I act like that shit didn't hurt me. It didn't bother me. And like, I've already lost Dante. I've already lost, other people in my life that I thought was for me. And they just was so fucked up and I needed to lose them. And, I'm holding in all these tears and grief because that's what I'm used to from childhood. Like, you better not fucking cry. You're a crybaby. So, I literally, and granted I was a crybaby, but goddamn, I was born in this world. Like, why the fuck ain't y'all crying? Like, We all should just be in this bitch crying. You know why you ain't crying? Because you got a bottle in your fucking hand. That's why you ain't crying. I'm sitting over here feeling all y'all motherfuckers pain, but y'all got bottles in y'all hand. Okay, all right, but I'm the crybaby. Shit, y'all motherfuckers should be crying and y'all wouldn't have a bottle in y'all hand. It would make perfect sense, right? But nope. Pick on me, the little child who was brought in the world to feel every fucking thing. Pick on me. It's fine. We here now. So I just was like holding that shit in, and like I lied to you fucking that. I couldn't hold it in no more, and I started to cry. I thought I was gonna die. When I released that, like I thought I was gonna die. I literally could not breathe. I felt so much pressure in my head because I just hadn't cried. Like I had cried tears prior to that period, but I hadn't had that deep, like that loss made me feel everything. And it was like, I'm just losing everything. Like to lose, that person, it just meant to lose everything. In all actuality, I was crying for me too because I had lost myself. And it was just a lot of purging and crying. And now I cry, and I'm still sometimes, not easy to cry, but the shit comes out. It comes when it needs to. And crying is actually healing, is a purging of sorrows. And sometimes you cry tears of joy, and sometimes it is some deep pain and grief. So yeah, like it's just been a whirlwind of coming to oneself again. Literally had a poem called Shatter. If you have not heard it, I do suggest you go read it. It kind of describes me. If you want to meet love, you should meet me. However, I do not want access to everyone, and I do not want everyone to have access to me. So I'm sorry you missed out. Everyone will not get to experience love from me. However, to experience love from me is to have pure, unadulterated, unconditional love. I will tell you this though. To experience love from me is to have someone who will bluntly and matter-of-factly say some shit to you. However, it is not without reason. I will say it to you because you need to hear it. And I think that's where I had definitely lost myself. I started not saying shit to people, and I just started giving them like this unfiltered pure love. And I feel like there's lots of people in this world who represent love, and I'm one of them. And unfortunately, the world has taken too much advantage of me, and my access is being withdrawn. My love will only be for those who are worthy, and it will not be for those who are not. So if you do want to experience love, love flows through a lot of people on this earth, and I am one of the people who loves to flow through. I just love, and I think it's because I did not have love growing up, so I always search for love outside of myself. I really did not know how to love myself because I was taught as a child indirectly that I was not worthy. And like it does have effect on you when your parents don't love you. Like it has major effects on you. They can't love you because they can't fucking love themselves. And so you don't really know how to love yourself. However, you love people from the point of view of what you needed. However, you're still loving people from what you needed. And I'm one of the people who love, and I'll love you from what you need. Like, tell me what you need and I will give it to you. I will study you. I will study you, and I will learn you, and I will love you. I will love you until you don't want me to love you no more. And once you don't want me to love you no more, I'm gone. But I'm gone for good. However, I never gave that shit to myself. And I think that has been my biggest um biggest freedom, my biggest elevation, was learning to love myself, was learning to study myself, was learning to give all the things that I was willing to give others to myself. I had so many people in my corner that loved me, but because I didn't love me, I pushed them away, and I went and sought out people who were like me that didn't love themselves. And I'm like, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you till you love you. And it wasn't until I met Dante, and that's one of the people, like, even though that was an abusive relationship, we was abusive to each other. However, I was a reactive abuser. I never just abused him for no fucking reason. But if he was with the shits, I was with him. I'm just gonna be honest and real with you, but like, we literally mirrored each other at certain times, and he just had different set of coping skills. Like, we literally were going through a lot of the same things. We understood each other, if that makes sense. Like, we understood each other. We did not always have to even say a fucking thing. Like, we literally could just be with each other, sit with each other, and know that, I'm hurting. I'm dealing with this shit. I'm dealing with some pain just from certain behavior changes and all that stuff. Like, we just, and like, it literally was a situation where, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but like, when we met and everyone probably be like, what are you liking this man? And we met. It was very poetic. It started out rocky. I hated that man when I first knew him. Like, I was just like, nigga, you are the devil in a fucking Sunday hat. Like, bitch, I see right through you. Like, right through you. Like, even told him, like, nigga, you gonna hurt me. Like, I ain't got time for that shit. Like, you about to hurt the fuck out of me. Anyway, everything happens for a reason. And he was my mission. I was his. And no regrets. However, I will say this: young women, older women, men, young men, abusive relationships are so dangerous. Not everybody makes it out alive. So please, 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 instead of getting someone else to help fix you by abusing you, please go seek some help. There is therapy. There are abuse hotlines that will get you out of that situation. There is, what else? There is support groups. There are support groups for people who are going through this. And I will say this: there is a lot of support for women, and there is not enough support for men. There are so many men being abused, but because of society, they are going without help. They are being unalived just like women. And women are one of the most dangerous creatures on this earth, because we are so well calculated, and so we think everything out way farther than most men. And we're very, 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 very manipulative by nature. So a woman scorned, whether you the one that scorned her or not, like, because a lot of these people are being scorned from childhood, and they're getting into these relationships and using other people as their punching bags. So typically, you're usually never the reason that the person is acting that way, but they're taking it out on you. Men are suffering in silence because society has set it up where men cannot complain about being abused by women, but women are far more dangerous than abusive male. However, there's just more attention. If you look at the statistics, it's not going to report correctly because the men are not reporting it. Every man that I have met that have been through abusive relationship did not seek help the way that women seek help. Okay? So, saying that, a lot of them also are fighting for their fucking lives in court. So, if they got married to the bitch, then they are fighting to keep all the things that, are keeping them afloat. Because literally, Divorce is designed for the women to win, which we understand why it would be like that because of the kids. However, some of these bitches do not deserve a goddamn penny. Matter of fact, bitch, if you can't take care of the kid, you know, in some circumstances, I ain't talking about all. That's one thing, people need to mind their all business. If this don't resonate with you, mind your business and go click on something else. But I am talking about for women who are like literally being vindictive and manipulative when it comes to divorce. Those are the ones that are draining the men dry purposefully. They're doing it just, they don't even care if they win in the end. They just want you to have your lawyers, you know, constantly in court because you got to constantly pay the lawyers. So it is very fucked up when men have to go through in society, and society has sympathy for women for all the right reasons. You should. However, you should have the same sympathy for men because men are going through it, and it's the same with sexual abuse. Men are not reporting it because the way society is. Like, if y'all remember Terry Crews coming out and, you know, saying that, you know, me too, and he was telling the goddamn truth, and like everybody tried to act like, oh my gosh, like, why would you shut the fuck up and let that man tell y'all what weird shit is going on? Because the same way you would take up for a woman that's been abused is the same way you need to acknowledge that a man can be abused. And a lot of shit be happening like that in Hollywood. I even had a science teacher who was near and dear to my heart. I was so mad at that man when I was young. But I learned everything. I paid attention to everything he taught me. But he even told me a story about how he was in medical school, and literally the guy told him that he wasn't going to sign off on something unless he did a sexual act with him. And that was to get his fucking degree that he had already earned. And he had to literally advocate for himself in that moment. But how many men has this happened to that wasn't, you know, cut from the same cloth as him? How many men has this happened to? So the same, you know, stuff that goes on for women goes on for men. And the same way we're going to advocate for women, we need to advocate for men. I went on a tangent and I've lost where I originally was at. But sometimes these tangents are important for someone or somebody. I think I was talking about loving myself, and I did like a little disclaimer for those who are currently in these abusive relationships, to get some fucking help. If you are in abusive relationships, whether you came from an abusive situation or not, you need to get help. It is dangerous. You can lose your life. You can lose yourself. You can lose a lot. And you need to get help immediately. Like right now. Like, stop what you're doing and click off this video because it's not for you. My videos are typically going to be for people who have survived it. But anywho, back to me and Dante, and I think that's why I kind of made the disclaimer. It was back to me and Dante, but we definitely like met. It was very like at first, and then it was like very poetic. We kind of, you know, a lot of people didn't know about him, like, but he was very intelligent, and we literally shared common interests there. Like I am a sapiosexual. Like, I love intelligent men. Even just outside of romantic relationships or partnerships, I love having conversation with smart people. That is something that sets the endorphins off in my brain. If you are one of those people that says, you know, hey, the weather is nice today, I'm typically going to be like, yes, and disengage. I do not like surface level conversations. I like to dig deep. I want to know about what you are thinking about for real. Miss Ma'am. No, ma'am. No. But we really related off that. We related off poetry, music. We used to share like a lot together. That was religion. We literally just had a lot of common interests while he was locked up. And it was while he was home too. But once again, he struggled with an opiate addiction. So he wasn't always able to be himself. So it was definitely a relationship. Now that I am safe, now that I am healed, I look back and we both shared similar traumas. One of the songs that he sent me in the beginning was I'll Fix You by Coldplay. And and I think we both were trying to fix each other. And for me, I feel like we both succeeded. It just wasn't until, death happened and death did us part. And I always say he's still with me. I feel him. He visits me. So I know he's at peace. I know his soul, his core soul is at peace. And so we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. I ended up being able to, fix me as well. So, and I'm not going to take all credit for it. Like I said, I have the most phenomenal spirit team. God, most high, number one, universal. All of it is just one source to me. But you can break it all down and then pull it back together to one. So I like to think of us who are connected to source as one. These other things I don't really know. I don't know what to say and I don't know what to tell you. But Pluto is now in Aquarius, and I literally feel happy. I feel happy. I have learned a lot of hard lessons, but I've also healed from a lot of hard things. Does that mean I'm perfect? No. You see me. I ain't perfect. I'm very transparent that I'm not perfect. I do not desire to be. I just want to be me. And me is not usually what people want me to be. Some people want me to be, a delicate flower, which I am. I'm a delicate flower. It's like Raven from Indigo Wellness told me. She was like, you're a rose with a still concrete spine. So I'm a rose. I'm a delicate flower. However, I will stick the fuck out of you if you play with me. And it's just simple as that. You should admire me, but never play with me. So, I think people want to see all love and light from a lot of people. It's not just even me, but it's like a lot of people, they have this misconception that to be close to God is all love and light. And if you ain't realized it or not, if God was almighty and God was omnipotent, God would literally have to, not be all love and light all the time. Because he has to be all, right? So, and a lot of y'all missed that in the book of Job, which is one of my favorite stories. One of my favorite stories. It's not one of my favorite books, but it is definitely one of my favorite stories. Because I always said, like, nigga, I'm Job. Like, I am Job. God will take everything away from me, and I still will be like, God, why? They say don't question God, but I'll be like, why? Why? But I'll never forsake God. I do know, like, shit, this is all for a reason. I literally believe in things happen all for a reason, with the 1% chance of coincidence. Just a 1% chance of coincidence. So yeah, sometimes some shit is some coincidences, and that's why you got to use discernment. But I think a lot of times, a lot of shit is happening for a reason. And what you missed in that story was that the devil literally works for God. And a lot of y'all chose to do some foul shit and fell in that trick bag, even though, yeah, I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. Y'all will learn. Y'all figure it out. You got 20 years. Got 20 whole years. So yeah, what to expect? I feel like what to expect with Pluto and Aquarius is, if you haven't done the hard work, good fucking luck. If you haven't been doing the hard work, let's just say you ain't even there yet, but you actually been putting forth effort, just keep continuing. But if you ain't tried to do none of that hard work, good luck. I don't even believe in luck. I believe in being blessed, but good luck for you. Like, that's all I can give you. Because obviously you are not connected to source if you did not figure out you should have been making some changes. You are far removed. And that's just my opinion. I'm just trolling. I'm just really trolling at this point. This is for entertainment purposes only. So yeah, like it feels wonderful to me. Life is life though. Like, one day you can be having a good day and one day it can be, an emotional roller coaster. However, I've learned to ride the waves. So I trust myself. I trust God, number one, most of all. And I trust my support system. I trust that. So yes, I'm just patiently, waiting, but at the same time, I'm not even just patiently waiting. I'm just getting back into like doing things for myself. Like yesterday, I took a nice walk and it felt so good. It was a good day outside, and it's like today I was like, you know what? I don't feel like walking. And mind you, I've lost 21 pounds and I can see it in my neck now. And when I lose some more weight, it'll go down a little bit more. But I think no matter what size I am, I do kind of have like a chin area. That's just me. And a nigga gonna have to accept that. Okay? But I don't know. That's one of the things I'm so happy about. Like, I got my goof back. Like, my goof troop. I got to be, like, I get to be goofy again. I was just so sad and hurting. Like, yeah, I would laugh at shit, but it was mostly, like, laughing at my own pain. Like, now I can just laugh at anything now. Like, my retarded. Y'all don't like that word. My retarded shit, like I can laugh at that now. Like and I said I self-identify as retarded. If you look up the etymology of the word retarded, it literally isn't harmful. The people who use it against people who were special needs are the monsters, not the word. The word is not the monster. The people who use it against special needs people are the monster. I literally grew up in the house where my mom used that word against me. Like, so it's in my vocabulary and it's stuck with me, and it's kind of like nigga. Like, I just use it as like, oh shit, I am retarded. Like, I'm on a spectrum. I could be very much a genius one day and I can have a retarded moment the next day, and shit, it don't even have to be the next day or the next moment. Like, I literally can have this smart ass moment right here, right now, and then the most ridiculous processing will happen. Like, I mean, delayed. I'll have the most delayed processing moment ever. And it's like, well, bitch, you was just that fast and that quick just that second ago. And it's like, well, this, you're no bueno. And I think we have to realize that a lot of us have delayed processing in different areas. Like, nobody is the all to be all in all areas. Like, you'd be God then. And so I'm just God like. I am not God. So that's that. I have retarded moments and I am okay with that. And I call myself that. So you can't take that away from me because I identify as retarded, since that's how that works. I identify as retarded. And like Dave Chappelle said, y'all let us say nigga, but we ain't no niggas. And it's funny how they used to be like, nigger meant ignorant. Like, nigger with the hard R. Like, it means ignorant. Whole time, like, you calling us what we are. But we don't look at word etymology. We don't look at it. So we take those things as defensive and we let people trick us out our spot. Out our spot. Look up word etymology. Look at where words originate from. And most etymology books are not going to give you Arabic, African, and Africa has so many fucking languages because Africa is a continent, but they have so many language groups. But if you get a book that, or if you go online and you look at etymology, if you want to get the original, you're going to have to start looking at, some of these African cultures and some of the Arabic stuff, and look at what those words meant, for real, like for real, because everything ain't European, contrary to what they want us to feel, and Europeans got everything from who? Who knew? All right, I'm happy you could fill in the blank. But I'm a little tired, so, because this is a whole hour and 15 minutes of me just talking about coming from Pluto and Capricorn to Pluto and Aquarius. And I'm just so thankful that I believe in myself. And I have called back my power. And I'm going to talk my shit. Because I ain't afraid of none of y'all. Because God walks with me. So you the one need to be scared. And once I figured that shit out, like, I don't even think that was the problem. The problem was I was holding on to motherfuckers just off the strength of longevity. I was holding on to people off the strength of longevity because I believe in loyalty, but they did not. And that was getting in my way. And then it was blatantly clear, like, niggas was trying to take me out. And it's cool, though, because God sees what? God sees everything. And Pluto is in what? Aquarius. And what's going to end up happening? It's going to be 20 years of you to fuck around and find out. So to all the people who have been doing all the hard work, kudos to you. Which I think that's Greek. I can't remember. What is it, Greek for congratulations? Look, see, we've said a lot of things that I just had a moment. I had a moment with my spirit right now. Like, I just felt like a geek. I am. I really am. But yeah, I had a moment just then. I don't know if the camera picked that up. But I could hear it. I could hear it in my ear. But I felt like I sounded like Daffy Duck or some shit. My bad. So yeah, we say words and we don't always pay attention to what they mean. You know, we just do a lot of things and don't know what they mean. And a lot of this shit is our culture. We're holding on to our culture and we're doing things. But I just want to say congratulations to the people who have been putting in their hard work, to the people who have been accepting themselves as they are and not comparing themselves with others. Kudos to you. To the people who found their way back to themselves if they was lost. To the people who decided to grow if they had some ugly ways. Kudos to you. Kudos to you for doing their hard work, because Capricorn was bringing it out of us. Like, it was like, you must figure this out. And and now we're here. And as I would like to say, just sit back and watch the story unfold. For you motherfuckers that were sitting over here coming after people because you thought they was weak, I'm gonna go get me some popcorn. Talk to you later.